Los Angeles, Califórnia. Hotel Beverly Hilton. 8 de março de 1973. Quinta-feira, 14h30. A sala de conferências do hotel está lotada com 120 jornalistas, produtores, executivos de estúdio e fotógrafos. Flashes estouram a cada 3 segundos. O burburinho de conversas preenche o ar com aquela energia característica de grandes anúncios de Hollywood. Todos sabem que algo importante está prestes a acontecer. A Warner Brothers convocou uma coletiva de imprensa extraordinária para anunciar oficialmente a produção de Warrior, a série de televisão mais cara e ambiciosa já produzida sobre artes marciais. Um projeto orçado em $2 milhões só para a temporada piloto. Um projeto que promete revolucionar como o Ocidente vê o Oriente. Um projeto baseado em um conceito original de Bruce Lee. Bruce está nos fundos do salão. Ninguém o convidou para sentar no palco. Ninguém lhe disse que deveria estar lá na frente com os executivos. Ele simplesmente apareceu. Porque o conceito é dele. A filosofia é dele. Os movimentos, as cenas de luta, a própria alma do projeto nasceu de suas mãos. 3 anos atrás, ele apresentou a ideia aos executivos da Warner. Um guerreiro asiático no velho oeste americano. Um homem sem nome, sem passado, vagando pela América dos anos 1870, usando artes marciais em vez de armas. Filosofia oriental encontrando brutalidade ocidental. Sabedoria contra violência. Era revolucionário. Era único. Era Bruce Lee destilado em formato de série. Os executivos amaram. Disseram que era brilhante. Disseram que seria um sucesso. Disseram que Bruce seria perfeito para o papel principal. Reuniões aconteceram. Contratos foram discutidos. Bruce desenvolveu a Bíblia da série, escreveu tratamentos de episódios, coreografou sequências de luta. Ele colocou sua alma naquele projeto por 3 anos. E então, silêncio. Ligações não retornadas. Reuniões canceladas. Semanas se transformaram em meses. Até que hoje, esta coletiva. Bruce usa um traje tradicional chinês. Gola mandarim preta, botões de tecido. Uma declaração silenciosa de identidade. Seus braços estão cruzados. Seu rosto é uma máscara de calma controlada. Mas quem conhece Bruce, quem treinou com ele, quem passou tempo suficiente ao seu lado, pode ver a tempestade atrás dos olhos. No palco, 5 homens sentam-se atrás de uma longa mesa coberta com um pano branco, microfones espalhados, jarras de água, o setup clássico de Hollywood. No centro está Fred Weintraub, produtor executivo da Warner, 52 anos, terno cinza impecável, sorriso ensaiado. À sua esquerda, Tom Kuhn, vice-presidente de desenvolvimento de séries. À direita, outros executivos cujos nomes ninguém lembrará. E na ponta direita da mesa, David Carradine, 36 anos, cabelo longo, expressão zen estudada, usando um poncho como se já estivesse vivendo o personagem. Fred Weintraub bate levemente no microfone. O som reverbera pela sala. O burburinho diminui. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. Today is an exciting day for Warner Brothers. We are here to officially announce Warrior, a series that will redefine American television. Polite applause. Camera flashes. This series follows the journey of an Asian warrior in the Old West, a man who uses philosophy and martial arts to navigate a violent world. It's a story about identity, about survival, about the clash of cultures. Bruce doesn't move, but his hands, crossed over his chest, tighten slightly. Weintraub continues. For the lead role, we were looking for someone who could embody both the physical and spiritual dimensions of the character. Someone the American public could connect with, who could carry a primetime series on their shoulders. And we found that man. He gestures to Carradine. David Carradine will be our warrior. The room explodes in flashes. Journalists shout questions. Carradine smiles, waves, embodying the studied humility of an actor who knows he's just won the role of his life. Bruce doesn't move. Not yet. But something changes in his posture. An almost imperceptible stiffening. 3 years. 3 years of his life. His concept. His philosophy. His identity. Handed over to a man who never seriously studied martial arts. A man who is white in a role written for an Asian. A man who can't perform the moves, who doesn't understand the philosophy, who hasn't lived the culture. A journalist raises his hand. Mr. Weintraub, there are rumors that Bruce Lee, the martial arts instructor who worked with Steve McQueen and James Coburn, was involved in the development of this series. Is that true? Pause. Weintraub hesitates for a fraction of a second. Bruce Lee is a talented martial arts consultant and contributed some initial ideas. We are grateful for his input. Some initial ideas. 3 years reduced to some initial ideas. Consultant, as if he were just another technician brought in to give an opinion, another journalist. Why not cast an Asian actor in the lead role since the character is Asian? Tom Kuhn leans into the microphone. It's a fair question. The reality is that American primetime television requires faces that the mainstream public can relate to. Market research shows that audiences in the heartland, where the advertiser's money is, respond better to protagonists who look like them. David brings that universal quality. Plus, there are no Asian actors with enough name recognition to carry a series. No Asian actors. Bruce hears those words. He's processed them 1,000 times before. Always the same excuse. Always the same reasoning. You're too good to be a supporting actor. But not good enough to be the star. Your face is too Asian. Your accent is too strong. The American public isn't ready. Maybe in villain roles. Maybe as comic relief. But never the hero. Never the protagonist. Never the man who saves the day. Carradine takes the microphone. I just want to say that I approach this responsibility with profound humility. I will study martial arts intensively. I will honor Asian culture. This character may not look like me, but I will embody him with respect. The room murmurs approval. Journalists nod. What a humble man. What a dedicated actor. Bruce moves. Not dramatically. Not drawing attention. He simply walks down the side aisle toward the stage. His steps are silent. No one notices at first. He doesn't push. He doesn't shout. He just walks with that presence that instinctively turns heads. An executive notices. Whispers something to Weintraub. Weintraub's eyes widen slightly. He sees Bruce approaching. Polite panic crosses his face. Bruce reaches the side of the stage. A security guard steps forward. Bruce stops, looks at him. Not with anger. Not with threat, just looks. The guard, a 6'3" man who's worked crowd control for 15 years, instinctively steps aside. There's something in those eyes that says resistance would be futile. Bruce climbs onto the stage. The room falls absolutely silent. 120 people hold their breath. Camera flashes explode in rapid sequence. This wasn't in the script. This isn't part of the official announcement. This is real. This is unpredictable. This is exactly what journalists live to witness. Weintraub stands up, forced smile. Bruce, what a surprise. We weren't expecting. Bruce looks at him. Weintraub stops talking, sits down. Bruce stands in the center of the stage. He doesn't take a microphone. He doesn't need one. His voice, when he speaks, carries to every corner of the room. Clear, controlled, loaded with contained power. My name is Bruce Lee. 3 years ago, I presented a concept to Warner Brothers. An Asian warrior in the Old West. A man who uses martial arts, not guns. A man who resolves conflicts through wisdom, not just violence. That concept came from my experience, from my culture, from my life. I developed every episode. I created the character's philosophy. I choreographed the fights. This project is my blood. Total silence. Pens scribbling furiously. Cameras clicking. This is becoming history. Today, you were told that David Carradine will play this character, a white actor playing an Asian character. You were told there are no qualified Asian actors. You were told the American public can't relate to an Asian face. You were told it's a market issue. Bruce pauses, looks directly at the cameras. I'm going to show you why that's a lie. Before anyone can react, Bruce moves. He performs a martial arts sequence right there on stage, in his traditional Chinese suit. It's not a rehearsed demonstration. It's real combat. Kicks that slice the air with audible sounds. Punches that stop millimeters from invisible targets. Moves that defy physics. Speed that makes cameras struggle to capture. He's not showing technique. He's showing art. He's showing soul. He's showing exactly what Hollywood is rejecting. The sequence lasts 45 seconds. When he stops, he's not breathing hard. He's not sweating. He just stops, returns to neutral position, looks at the audience. You could hear a pin drop. This, Bruce says calmly, is what David Carradine will spend 6 months trying to imitate with stunt doubles and camera editing. This is what will be diluted, westernized, turned into something palatable for audiences that executives think can't handle authenticity. He looks at Carradine, not with anger, almost with pity. You seem like a good man, but you can't be this. You can study for years and never be this, because this isn't just movement. It's culture, it's identity, it's life. Bruce turns to the journalists. Hollywood tells me I'm not good enough to be a hero in my adopted country, that my face doesn't sell tickets, that my accent is a problem. But in Hong Kong, where I returned because there's no room for me here, my films break all box office records. In Hong Kong, kids on the streets know my name. In Asia, I am what Hollywood says I can never be here, a star. Weintraub tries to intervene. Bruce, this isn't professional. We can discuss. Bruce cuts him off with a look. Professional? You took 3 years of my work. You told me the role was mine. And then, silently, without conversation, without explanation, you gave it to another man. And now you call me unprofessional because I show up here to tell the truth? A journalist shouts. Bruce, what do you want to happen? Bruce is silent for 5 seconds. When he speaks, his voice is lower, but carries more weight. I want you to write this. I want every person who reads your newspapers tomorrow to know that Hollywood prefers to metaphorically paint a white man yellow rather than give an Asian the chance to be a hero. I want the world to know that Warrior is my creation, given to another man because my face doesn't fit their idea of America. He looks directly at the cameras, and I want everyone to know that this won't stop me. I'll make films, I'll tell stories, I'll show the world that a hero can have this face. He points to himself. Can have this accent, can come from this culture, and you'll watch, and you'll applaud, and Hollywood will have to swallow the fact that they passed on what could have been theirs. Bruce steps down from the stage. He doesn't run. He doesn't hurry. He just walks with that magnetic presence down the central aisle. Journalists stand up shouting questions. He doesn't answer. He just keeps walking. The double doors at the back of the room open. He passes through them and disappears. The room explodes. Journalists rushing to phones. Executives in panic. Carradine sitting in silence, suddenly looking very small. Cameras clicking. This is headline news. This is history. This is the moment Bruce Lee declared war on Hollywood, in front of everyone, and walked out as if he'd already won. The next day, all Los Angeles newspapers carry the story. Bruce Lee confronts Warner Brothers. Martial arts actor denounces racial casting. Creator of Warrior says project was stolen. The photos show Bruce on stage, performing his moves, confronting executives. The images are powerful, undeniable. Warner Brothers tries to control the damage. Press releases about respecting all contributions. But the damage is done. The public now knows. Hollywood now knows. And Bruce Lee, the man they said couldn't be a star, has just proven he can stop an entire city with nothing but the truth and 45 seconds of perfect movement. 3 months later, Bruce is in Hong Kong filming Enter the Dragon, the film that will make him an international legend. The film that will prove, conclusively and irrefutably, that Hollywood was wrong, that the world was ready, that a hero can have any face, as long as it has enough soul, sources,